I'd taken Luke out to watch a football match. He was only 6 months old. He was always quite bright and cheerful, and he seemed a little bit off. He gradually started to get a little bit more irritable. It was getting to a point where I was getting a bit concerned, so I decided to take him home. He was looking pale. I'd gone over to, I'd sort of put all the lights on, gone over to the cot and pulled back his blankets, and he was just burning up, but it was the colour of clay. Get the GP back out again, the doctor. Ran round frantically, got the doctor came straight out, but decided it was too far gone to call an ambulance. It'd be quicker for us to get him in the car and get him over to the hospital. Frantically over to A&E. Physical symptoms were his temperature had gone sky high, quite limp, very unsettled. His skin, I noticed tiny little, what looked like pinpricks, sort of marks on his skin. And then later on, these tiny little pinpricks developed into what I can only describe as like strawberry birthmarks. Unfortunately, as time went on, he went into cardiac arrest.
Would you say it's going to take some time for you
They started working on him. They brought him back round once, and carried on fighting again for a little while longer. They then confirmed that it was meningitis septicemia. It would have been about 5:30 in the afternoon. He went into cardiac arrest again, and this time they couldn't save it. He was pronounced dead then at around 6 in the evening.
Meningitis is an illness that can be very scary. It's an infection that can make people very sick. Babies who get the disease are at particular risk of getting dangerously ill because it can be tricky to diagnose and symptoms can escalate quickly.
If he'd have survived, he probably would have ended up with amputations or brain damage or blind or deaf. Meningitis is waterborne and airborne. People carry it in the back of their throats, people carry it in the back of their noses. Took swabs from people who had been around Luke within the last week, basically, so the week previous, and it turned out to be a family member that was carrying the bacteria but had no signs themselves. The whole point of charity ball is basically because of what happened to Luke, the meningitis is still quite prevalent, it's still out there because of the charities like Meningitis Now and the research that's gone into the disease. They've come quite a long way. There's still strains out there which they haven't got vaccines for and which are still maiming, killing. We need to sort of keep going with the research and keep finding vaccines until this whole meningitis is eradicated. Luke's legacy is to try and raise as much money to help Meningitis Now charity, enable people who've suffered with meningitis and who survived, the survivors of meningitis. 29 years on, we still need to stop this. Give as much support as we can.